Hello! Thank you for tuning in to this week's read. For this week's read, I'm using the Thelema Tarot. Thelema Tarot by Renata Lechner. Where is that? There's that. Hopefully you can see it. The website is at the bottom here. I think it's Los Garibos. Feel free to freeze frame on that if you want that information. Supportive Oracle cards. Magical Spell cards by Lucy Cavendish. Illustrated by Jesse Reish. And then there's the website at the bottom. I want to say this one's a Hay House one. I don't remember. Is it Hay House? Yep, hayhouse.com. There at the bottom if you're interested. Hopefully that's focusing. Now that I think of it. And for the dice I'm using, the dice shop, and you go to, I think it's Math Art Fun. Hopefully you can see that too. mathartfun.com. I use a 22-sided dice for the major arcana. I substitute 22 for 0 for the Fool. I use a 14-sided dice for the minor arcana, and then I use a 4-sided dice to choose the element that matches up with the minor arcana. Anything else? No. Alright, so if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for tuning in, and let's get on to your reading. Hello, Aries. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Aries? You do have the Five of Wands showing up, but you have other really good cards. Even though it's the Five of Wands, Aries isn't one to really be held back by that. Not that you're like, I'm going to say you're like excited about it, but at the same time, why do we have all this? What's going on with all these cards? Like, what's going on with all these cards? I think you're in a power moment. Things are changing. Things are definitely changing. So, it's time for something to move forward. Has it been blocked or is it blocked? What's the deal? I feel like I've been in a holding pattern. You got the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands, when I read it, it's like the need to make a quick decision and just keep moving. That's like the base energy that I get from it. When I'm getting this, though, I feel like I've been making a lot of decisions, but it hasn't been taking me anywhere. It's kind of like it's kind of like trying to clean up a house, and I'm just flitting from room to room. Meanwhile, people are messing things up quicker than I can fix them. And it just seems like I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere, but I keep moving so I don't over-center on things. That energy seems to be like I'm coming to like a standstill with that. I feel like I'm like, you know what? I've been doing things, keeping myself busy. And I think fire signs, and I've known a couple areas that do this actually. If you're trying to keep yourself from thinking about things that aren't taking you to a good place mentally, I feel like you guys keep doing something. You just keep yourself in motion. I can think of a couple actually that I've known over the years that they've told me that literally when things are not going well and they can't seem to find a way to fix it, they just keep doing something. They keep themselves busy doing something. That way they don't have the ability to let their mind go places that they don't want their mind to go. But we're coming to a point where things are getting kind of stuck. And it's kind of like the Chariot is telling me I need to do something for me. I need to move something forward, but I'm still feeling stuck. But I'm also coming to that moment where I'm like, this isn't working. I keep moving. I keep trying to keep myself from thinking about things or overthinking things, but it's not getting me out of this situation. It's just like I can't. It's like I'm still stuck in this house. And it's not improving. I can't get a hold of it. I can't get control of it. It's not improving, but I can't accept it anymore. And I'm coming to my moment where I'm like, I need to do something. I need to break through this block. I need to find a way to get myself back to a point in life where I am happy. Because I've had it before. I've been there before where I've been happy. And I'm feeling very, very far from that in this situation, whatever this category it is. It doesn't have to be your whole life. Could be like, could be finances, could be work, could be a relationship of certain, could be like a sibling relationship, a friend relationship, any type of relationship. But whatever this is, it's kind of like, it's been better in the past, and I've been trying to stay out of things or trying to keep myself from overthinking it, but I feel like I've painted myself in a corner. And I might even have the weird energy where I feel like I've maybe been avoiding things for too long, and I'm like, I feel like I'm addressing it in the sense of like, this isn't how I normally handle things. I feel like I've gotten so far away from the way I handle things that it just feels like I just haven't been dealing with things, and this hasn't been working. Aries is usually that one who just like, let's just deal with it. Let's just jump in, handle it so we can get it done and move on. But for some reason, this situation or this subject, you haven't been doing it. You've been keeping yourself busy so that you don't make decisions or you don't make changes, maybe believing that like there's security in me not making those decisions. Maybe it seemed like, for example, I've seen, especially the person I keep thinking of was an Aries, is an Aries, I should say. It was work related, and they didn't think they had the position to really do anything about what was going on around them, so they just tried to keep themselves busy, tried to stay out of the situation because they didn't think they could do anything about it. Um, and then and it was very secure. They made good money at it. So they're like, I don't want to leave this situation because I make good money at it, but I don't like what's going on here. I don't think it's right. I just don't think there's anything I can do to actually change it. I could say something, but it's not like they don't know. They just don't want to do anything about it. The energy is changing, but the question is, how is it changing? I feel like you're coming to this moment where you're like, I can't do this anymore. Whatever it is that's keeping you to here or keeping you in the thought of like, I have to keep doing this for whatever reason, it's becoming less and less and less. It's kind of like the person I'm thinking of, they wanted to hold on to the job because it was good money and it kept their life stable in certain ways, but it got to a point where they did it for just so long to the point where it's like they're just like, I can't live like this anymore. I'm dreading. Like, I remember they were telling me, like, not only do they dread every day, but, like, even, like, their days off, they dread. Not the day off itself, but, like, near the end of the day off, they start already dreading going back to the place they had to work because even though it was good money, they were so unhappy with what was going on, and they just felt so unempowered with their voice that they just hated being there. They literally hated being there. I think ultimately the person I'm thinking of left that job. They had to do what they had to do. And it's just kind of like, even though the money was good, they were so unhappy that it didn't matter anymore. That I feel like that shows how strong an Aries can be when you can really force yourself to do something that you really don't believe in because there's another reason you feel like it's for the best. But it does have a shelf life because you have to listen to your inner voice. I feel like Aries sooner or later has to listen to their inner voice, or it just gets to a point where they get so unhappy that it's just kind of like, it just seems like it's a self-defeating purpose. Like, I'm trying not to listen to my inner voice, but I'm becoming so unhappy not doing that, I have to move forward. So I feel like I'm not telling people what I'm thinking or feeling, but I'm listening, and I'm listening very carefully, and I'm starting to make decisions. I feel like I've been quiet about this for so long. Aries is a complicated sign in my opinion. If Aries wants to be quiet about something and you have decided for good reason that you're going to be, you can keep very quiet about certain situations. It can also become a very heavy burden for you, but you definitely can do it. I feel like you're making decisions like, I'm going to have to make a change here, and I have to make sure I set this up to my advantage the best I can. So I'm going to use the job as an analogy. So if it was a job, it's kind of like, all right, this one isn't working anymore. The money's good, but I have to start looking to see what's out there. So I feel like I'm very privately trying to do that. I'm going on interviews where I can. I'm trying to keep it very private that I'm looking for another job. I'm doing it as stealthily as possible. Aries is usually very out there, but this is something where, no, I know how this works. I'm not going to let this situation get the advantage on me because I'm being honest. I'm just going to keep it to myself. I'm going to shut my mouth about it, and I'm going to do my best to start changing my circumstances so I can be happy again. There's a conflict coming. the trick is to empower yourself with the conflict that's coming because you're making your choice. This is all about you. Whatever this subject is, I feel like you haven't been listening to yourself, or you have been telling yourself, I can't do that for whatever reason, and you've not been letting yourself go too far down that road. It's coming to an end. Hopefully this goes to a place where this is more empowering, because what I'm getting is like the conflict is coming. Whatever the conflict is we've been avoiding, the conflict is coming. It's coming forward. It's coming forward, in my opinion, full strength. I feel like there's energy matching it that's kind of like acknowledging. If I don't know that it's agreeing with you as much as like it's acknowledging it, if that makes sense. And acknowledging that you're saying something, acknowledging that you're not happy, but agreeing with it, I don't know about that. Because I'm noticing that the Knight is moving away from the Five of Wands. I feel like this is somebody who's just trying to make you happy so that things don't change, which I don't think is going to work for you. I feel like at this point you need change. The energy that's acknowledging you, I feel like that energy, if you listen to it too closely, is going to give you this feeling of like, well, what's the point anyway? If I try to find another job, I'm just going to be unhappy there too, so why not just stay here? If I'm going to be unhappy, I might as well be unhappy with a good paycheck. We're using the work analogy, of course. It doesn't have to hit that way. It can be any subject, can be a relationship, but I feel like somebody's saying, well, yeah, but if you change this, you're just going to find the same circumstances at a different place, so why bother doing that? Might as well be unhappy with a good paycheck at least if you're going to be unhappy. It's even worse to be unhappy with a bad paycheck or a smaller paycheck with less benefits. I feel like this energy is trying to be helpful, isn't helpful, but trying to be. I feel like it's trying to be helpful. It's not, though. What I feel like needs to happen, you got the King and Queen of Fire coming forward on this too, so. The advice here, do what you do. Break the bond. Break. The Two of Swords came out, and it's like starting to break. It's like half in, half out, which means we're starting to break the block. You got both the King and the Queen. The Queen is at the bottom of the deck of Fire coming forward with a new beginning. This is you taking control and you deciding what you want from your life. Typically Aries, at least in younger years, maybe, I don't know how old you are now, I mean it's a general read, but, you know, there's more of an optimistic kind of like, this isn't going to work, so I'll try something else. If that doesn't work, I'll try something else, and if that doesn't work, I'll just keep looking. They want you to be empowered. They want you to realize that you have that energy still, and you just gotta go into this next beginning in the sense of like, all right, I'm gonna try something different. If that doesn't work, I'll try something else. And if that doesn't work, I'll try something else. And I'll just keep looking, and I'll just keep moving forward until I find something that makes me happy. Chances are the situation that you currently are leaving at one point did, for whatever reason. You'll find that again somewhere else. The thing is, it may not be the first, second, or third try, but by the fourth, fifth, at the very most, I feel like it's the fourth or fifth for a lot of you, you will find what you need. And you just have to keep changing. You just have to keep going. Get that Aries spirit up and get that going. Bring your energy into it. Believe it or not, some of you might not believe you have that energy anymore. It's definitely there. It's feeling empowered again that needs to happen. Once you feel empowered again and you start moving forward and creating your life the way you want to again, because I feel like it's there, you can definitely do it. So there is support around you, by the way. There should be people around you who know who you are. Ten of Cups, Three of Cups, positive, supportive. It could be a family energy. It could be very good friends. There's people here who like, hey, Aries, you got to do what you got to do. If it's time for you to make this change, it's time for you to make this change. They seem to know you well enough that when you finally move forward, not only do they believe, like, if you have to do it, you have to do it, they're also going to see that normal spark of yours come back. They're like, that's the Aries I know. That's the Aries that, you know, I originally met or knew or whatever back from then. I knew that Aries was still there. I was waiting for that Aries energy to come back, and here it is. People who support you and remind you that that energy is still there, believe them, for one, because they're telling you the truth. Especially if they've known you for a while, they wouldn't dare lie to your face anyway. Let's just be fair. But also, like, they're let them encourage you, let them build you up so you can have that energy, move forward, and make your changes. It may not take as long as it seems. When I was going through that analogy of like, if it's not the first one, I'll do the second. If it's not that, third, the fourth, possibly the fifth, at the most sixth. Even if you end up going through switching and switching and switching, And I'm just going to give a little bit about my life, because I do have some notable Aries placements, so I can see where this has played out in my life. I remember it took me, was it 6 months? It was a 6-month thing where I had to get my energy up. I had to do it. I had to make the change. Once I made up my mind I was making that change, the energy felt a lot better for me, even though I hadn't left that job. It was a job thing. And I think, how many jobs did I have? I think I had like 3 or 4 jobs. I'm not sure. I think I had 3 or 4. Might have been 4. Before I finally hit the one where I'm like, all right, this one feels good. This one I can do. This one I can keep it together. So I did what I had to do. It probably took about 6 months, but not for nothing. Whatever you're dealing with, if it takes 6 months to get you to a place where you're actually happy, and in my story, I actually ended up making a paycheck that was comparable to what I needed. I don't think it was exactly as much, but it was in the area where I felt like I was comfortable and I didn't have to worry about it. Maybe I was a little bit more careful with my spending, but it wasn't that bad, if that makes sense. So it may not be an exact match you need, but it'll be good enough. It'll go by faster than you think. What cards am I? I got Justice and I got the Fool. Things will work out in your favor. You just got to fight for it a little bit. And you have the fight. You definitely do. I feel like I'm also getting, I gave you that analogy where, when I returned back to what I needed, it took me about 6 months, but it was worth it for me. And I'm getting that you're going to be very surprised at what you end up finding. I'm also getting you're going to be very stable and happy with what you do find after this. It seems like you're very self-sufficient. So I'm using the work analogy. For some of you, for example, another version might be, maybe it's a relationship in some version, friendship, family, work, could be lover, that's not working anymore. If it is something like that, you'll have a period where you're by yourself. You won't be bothered by it, though. You're going to be shocked how comfortable you are with that energy. You might be very, very shocked at how much better it feels. I'm not getting the need. I'm not getting the need, like, if it is a relationship thing, I feel like I'm not getting like I need somebody. I'm feeling like when I get here, it's kind of like I'm open to the idea, but I don't need anybody. I feel like I'm getting to that point, if that makes a difference, which is a good energy to have. A lot of success coming, a lot more peace coming your way. It's just making that step forward. You do have what it takes to be successful here. Part of it might just be that you need to remember and you need to believe in yourself back to the way you used to be. That might be all it takes. And again, you have people around you who are building you up. Let them build you up. They're telling you the truth. It may be hard for you to see it, but the fact that they see it, realize that they actually do see it. Remember who's talking to you. Remember who believes in you. They're not just saying it just for fun. They're saying it because they do believe it, and it is the truth. They're seeing that truth. So maybe that can help build you up too. If this reading is hitting for you, of course, it's a general read. All right, that's what I have. Hopefully that helps. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.